We're back in Jeremiah, and thank you, Alan. And again, I just want to reiterate the reason why we're looking into a lot of the prophets and things of this nature is because it gives us a behind-the-scene look at how we've been viewed by the Most High. And he even allows us to see sometimes when we're doing things and refraining from doing, when we're doing things that are displeasing to him, he feels a certain way. And when we're refraining from doing the things that we should do as we've been instructed, he feels a certain way. And we're going to hear today out of the scriptures that sometimes in his frustration, he'll make a statement and he'll use the term, he might use the term forever. And I'm kind of reminded sometimes when we're having some people argue, some people have a difference of opinion. And oftentimes, I guess to make our point more emphatic, we will say something like, well, you always, or you never. And you know when you say it, you know that they don't always. And sometimes, you know, they don't, it's not that they don't ever do something, but we say that. And you know, when I was reading over some of the scriptures, he said some things concerning the people at that time, and it still applies to us today. When he said, you know, often he said, and I will bring destruction, and my anger will kindle forever. But then most of us that have been going to church for any time, we were told early and we hung on to it and we still hang on to it. It says, and his mercy endures forever. And I'm saying this because, you know, a lot of times in reading the conversations and the thoughts that some of the prophets had concerning the people, the believers of that day, they suffered a lot of backlash. That's the new term, and that's a term that's relevant today, particularly when somebody has been deemed or put in charge of something. It's funny how 1 minute when you're appointed or whatever to carry out a thing that on the surface everybody agrees with, yes, this needs to be done. And at that moment, hey, yay, you're probably seen as a champion until tough decisions have to be made. Now, prior to the tough decisions having to be made, you know, everybody's got an opinion and everybody considers themselves an expert. And you can toil for quite a while and get something off the ground, and as soon as you get it off the ground, everyone wants to tell you how it should run. And it's usually from people that are sitting in the stand. If you've ever watched an athletic contest of any type, both athletes or teams or whatever, but they both want to win. And the fans of the teams, of course, they want their team to win. And when your team has the upper hand, you're cheering. But when things go the other way, sometimes we start finding fault with the team. But I have this message that I like for everybody that's ever sat in the stands, and everybody that has always had the privilege to observe someone in a struggle. Keep this in mind. Things always look a little easier when you're watching. Even academically, you study some material, and if it's, true or false, multiple choice, or the right answer is in there, you might can do some computations or whatever, and you know that of the 4 things there, one of them is the right answer. You might be fortunate and guess the right answer. But you've been given some material and you have to write the answer out in an essay. That's kind of difficult. Those are the toughest type of exams to take because you won't get to bluff your way. You either know or you don't know. And why am I saying all of this? Is because a lot of times I think it will help all of us spiritually and naturally in our daily walk in life to read those books. Read about not just Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all of them. And look at what he's saying about the people of that day and remember that it applies to us today too. He does love us with an everlasting love. And we're learning to love one another. And we're learning as things begin to grow, relationships begin to form, hearts begin to knit together. And we become, it's refreshing when honesty can truly flow from heart to heart and breast to breast. When real honesty, when we put away all of the societal political correctness, where we can have an honest conversation. That's how we're going to grow, not necessarily in numbers, but grow in maturity. And so when correction comes and things get a little topsy-turvy, we don't falter. We can accept the correction a little easier or a little better, knowing that with the correction, is coming with mercy mingled in so that we can get through it and learn what we got to learn and improve and walk in it. Give an ear to this because, again, he does get, and I'll because we're in church, I'll be nice. He does get disappointed with us from time to time. But the disappointment comes when we don't follow the instructions. And the instructions were given so that we would have success in life. We were talking last night about free will, and somebody brought up a point that, most of us, when we hear free will, it's like, for most of us, sometimes we'll think, well, I'm free to do whatever I want, however I want, whenever I want. And I'm not going to say that's not true, but I will say this. When it comes to the things of the Most High, it's not only important that you do what He say, do it the way He said, but also be in order. See, if one of those steps is missed, we may not get His best. Is that making any sense? See, you can be doing what He said, and you might be doing it His way, but you can be out of order. Out of His order, not man's. And so, I can hear somebody's mind thinking right now, well, then are you saying that it's up to me to determine whether I'm in order or not? I'm saying no, it's not. That's part of the dilemma. Because oftentimes when something seems right to us, and, I merely say, when you don't know, check with Him. Check with Him. Check with Him. A lot of times we know a truth, but you have to ask yourself sometimes, is it expedient that I share this truth now? Give an ear. 17. Judah's sin is written with an iron pen. With a diamond point, it is engraved on the tablet of their hearts and on the horns of your altars. As they remember their children, so they remember their altars and their sacred poles by the green trees on the high hills. My mountain in the field, your wealth and all your treasures will be plundered. Now, the Most High is talking to the believers. Sounds kind of rough. My mountain in the fields, your wealth and all your treasures will be plundered because of the sin of your high places throughout your territory. You will relinquish your hold on your heritage, which I gave you. That's pretty strong, folks. The Most High says, you will relinquish your hold on your heritage, which I gave you. We don't hear that much. We don't hear that much. And no, I'm not, this isn't saying he's in what we used to call innocently yet ignorantly. You've heard the term Indian giver. I'm not saying that the Most High is an Indian giver. I'm not going there with that. But I'm saying that when we're not doing what he asks us, well, no, and ask is the wrong word. When we're not doing what he told us to do. See, because again, a lot of times, perhaps if we're not careful, we may think that his Torah is a suggestion. I don't think it is. But some of us, we might treat it that way. What are you talking about? Again, when we become too relaxed, too familiar, and we think we've got a grasp on something, we tend to get a little lax. That's not a bad word. But it appears in reading, he wants us to be fully committed. Isn't there a passage where he said, I wish you'd be either hot or cold, because if you warm, I will what? Spew you out of my mouth. So again, saints, we can't be kind of, sort of. You're not kind of, sort of pregnant. You either are or you're not. You can't be kind of, sort of married. You either are or you're not. And all your treasures will be plundered because of the sin of your high places throughout your territory. You will relinquish your hold on your heritage, which I gave you. I will make you serve your enemies in a land you do not know. For you have kindled my fiery anger, and it will burn forever. Now, I didn't make this up. I'm reading out of this particular translation. But again, we don't hear much of that. And so it's kind of helped us develop a view of the Most High that's kind of incomplete. Because, again, we think he's just in the blessing business only. Well, he is and again, I'm not saying this as if I'm of some authority. I'm not saying it in that spirit. I'm saying in our desire to really live lives that will please him, because none of us want to be disqualified. Not a one of us sitting in here, and not a one of us sitting in here that's got offspring, children. You don't want anything to happen to them. You don't want them to be disqualified. I will make you serve your enemies in a land you do not know, for you have kindled my fiery anger, and it will burn forever. And then he says, a curse on the person who trusts in humans, who relies on merely human strength. Now, right here where it's saying strength, see, it's not only talking about your physical strength, it's talking about your intellect. See, it's talking about all these vain philosophies these people are coming up with. Folks promoting their B-R-A-N-D, their brand. And I've said to you before, a person's brand says nothing about who they are. or what they are. A curse on the person who trusts in humans, who relies on merely human strength, whose heart turns away from, they have Adonai here, I like to say Yahweh. He will be like tamarisk in the Avara. When relief comes, it is unaffected. See, sometimes we can we work ourselves up in what we think we're into something really deep. And we might have a whole constituency of like-minded idiots. And they're all egging one another on. Yeah, go, go, go. And they give each other awards and all of this kind of stuff to promote vain philosophies. And it's going to get us in trouble. I was watching a podcast, and it was dealing with education, and I'm not going to, that's a whole nother subject, and no, I'm not against education. But what they were doing, they were giving what they thought was advice as to how, because they were promoting them, go further, go further. And every time I heard them encourage people to go further, I was saying, and get in more debt, and get in more debt, and get in more debt. And, a lot of people are now starting to try to pay back some of their student loans, and they're horrified because the payments have almost double or triple. And I know personally of a couple of couples, and again, I know at least 4 people, 2 are married and 2 doing it by themselves. Wouldn't you know, the 2 that are by themselves, that did everything their respective companies got them to do, took all the courses, took all the, took out the loans and everything, how about they got laid off? And they'll punch me, but they're older than me. I'm 68. Do you know people are getting laid off now and they're not even getting severance packages? And still somebody's on the thing, go, go, go. America encourages you to spend constantly, every day. And you know what? That's what makes capitalism work. And I know, AI. Well, AI can't replace all of us, because if all of us get laid off, who's going to buy the product? See, it's all connected. Speaking of industries, a little while ago, if you were in the tech industry, you were set. If you've been watching any of the news at all, I mean, tens of thousands of layoffs are happening in a lot of industries. What was hot then ain't hot now. Well, what does that have to do with it? It's exactly what it is, because of the sin in high places. Now, Now, what are these individuals supposed to do? Got these school loans. And no job. You think they can call their department head or supervisor that let them go or whatever and say, hey, John, I know I don't work for the company no more, but my school loan is due. Can I get a loan? Because how we went to lunch together for how many ever years they worked there. What are those people supposed to do? I'm asking the question. I don't see. A lot of this stuff that man and society has come up with is going to crumble more and more and more. And it's going to be based on, a lot of it will be based on, where was your allegiance? Were you believing in the Most High, or were you believing in your connections? See? And they're believers as well. So, uh, they aren't heathen people. Mm, mm, mm. He will be like a tamarisk in the Avara, which relief comes, it is unaffected. For it lives in the sun-baked desert, in salty, unhabitated land. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yah. Yah will be his security. So let me ask you something. Just think about this. Would you tell those two people, well, get another whatever? See, the system is set up. Do you know the system will give them another school loan to get them deeper in debt? I shared with one insight session, and again, I'm not trying to make this political, but I shared with the group that actually a lot of executive orders, some of them are reached by the executive branch. I don't care what party it is. President Obama did a lot of executive orders. The one after him did, the one after that one did, and the one that's in there now did. A lot of executive orders are a reach. Congress can backtrack any of them that go against the Constitution. So and I bring that up because, a lot of us, we were cheering a certain person because he promised that he would try to wipe away the student loans. But did you know that even if you file bankruptcy, they will not let you put that in bankruptcy? So they overrode that, which is why now everybody's loans are now coming due again, and the amount has increased. So how you gonna pay your loan and now you don't have a job? How many of your colleagues gonna write a check? You see, now they are gonna find out now's when they're finding out who love them. See, the sun's shining right now. This whole thing, it devastates me because things are a lot more serious than we think they are. And I'm not talking fear and all of that, and I'm well aware that there are no surprises for him. There are plenty of surprises for us. And I told you I was a capitalist. I said I did some more research. I'm not a capitalist, but I understand and I still am able to transact business in a capitalistic system. I'm not anti-government. I'm not anti-American. None of that. But saints, we have given our allegiance to certain systems, and it has displeased the Most High. Our allegiance should be to Him. Overall, our allegiance should be to Him. And again, I'm not telling you to give away your stuff and go live in the mountains. I'm not saying anything kooky like that. To live in America, it takes money. You've heard me say there's no free lunch, and I mean it. There is no free lunch. Even, I don't care if you get another $5,000 stimulus check, it ain't free. And I'm still not talking politics. I'm talking about sin in high places, which I got out of Jeremiah. And his anger is fiery. And he's not pleased. But the beauty of it again, yes, on one hand he says, and it's going to burn forever. But we say things sometimes. And sometimes before it even leave your mouth good, you'd be like, man, I wish I hadn't said that. And you go, I'm sorry. And so what I'm trying to convey to you is, yes, sometimes we frustrate him. I mean, sometimes we get frustrated with each other. Think about it. When you were coming up, sometimes they'll just tell you, I better go to myself. I know I frustrated my folks so much, particularly my mom. She would say, boy, just get out of my sight. Now, I know she didn't hate me, but she was telling me, get out of my sight, because next thing, a shoe might have come flying. Really? So what am I saying? I'm saying we do him the same way. We do him. I know we don't think so. Because we think we done learn A, B, C, D, and we think, I got it. Only if you keep going after him, you might find out A, B, C, D ain't all to it. It's a little more to it. Don't get comfortable with just A, B, C, and D. We gotta get back to, well, Father, what is it that you really want? What is it that you really want from me? And then when we're in here, Father, what is it that you really want from us? Like I told you, I keep talking about, learn to live life more than just me and you. Because life is more than just me and you. Me and you is for your home. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yah. Yah will be his security. He will be like a tree planted near water. It spreads out its roots by the river. It does not notice when heat comes, and its foliage is luxuriant. It is not anxious in a year of drought, but keeps on yielding fruit. And see, that's got to be us. That's got to be us that's trying to live by what he say. We got to be the fruit. Because there's a lot of hungry people out there. And if anybody's heart been moved to write a check, I'll give you their names before you leave. But I'm not. They're going to be all right. But see, life just got real for them. And see, these are the kind of people you're going to come in contact with. But we're not just getting in contact with them just so, well, now, I was at church the other day and our pastor was talking about Jeremiah. And maybe hearing that, hopefully it's jarred. Maybe we've been thinking, my situation's set. Well, again, I'm not trying to be a party poo. Some people got their eye on Social Security. Some people got their eye on a whole lot of other governmental agencies. And the people that serve them faithfully. I said years ago, everybody might have to get some kind of haircut. We don't know yet. But if you're on fixed income, you really not in a place where you want to, that might throw your whole budget out the window. Just something that, again, I'm not talking fear, I'm talking reality. And yes, he still loves you even in the dilemma. And yes, he can deliver. And yes, we can have a part if we're willing vessels. I've often said, a lot of times when blessings come to us, it's not just for us and our four and no more. Please do not be a reservoir. Be a flowing river. And again, I'm not saying be wise in your aid, in your help. And not everything is of a financial matter. We know enough scripture that we could carry on a conversation with a person, probably address their situation and never quote one scripture. Just talk to people. You don't always have, John does 3:16. We don't always have to do that. And, for the record, they didn't do that either back in the day. A lot of people are hurting. It says, even in a drought, we'll still yield fruit. We'll still yield fruit. Man, things are crazy. Well, no, I ain't got $100,000. And I mean, do you all know, I'm not talking about no $5,000 student loan. And see, well, it's tricking a lot of people. And it's disingenuous. I mean, well, again, capitalism is always promoting either a service, a product, and now they say, what you want to do is enjoy the experience. And I know I need to turn off some of that stuff, but I like keeping me grounded. When I start getting kind of, well, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing it. I turn on my TV and I turn on YouTube, and then I put in layoffs, go to search, go into layoff, and I just listen to people. Lady was preparing for her wedding. Got laid off. Now, I don't know if that guy's still married. I hope he did. But I don't know. See? And so, what if, even in that situation, God, can you imagine a double whammy? I lost my job. And then that joker turned around and said, you did what? I lost my job. One or two things happen. He said, well, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to do this. Or he might say something else. Or you might not hear from him no more. See, we don't really, sometimes when calamity comes, that's when you find out who you're really dealing with. My boss on my old job before they showed me the door, guy had come back from off vacation Monday morning. The same guy that let him go got me too. Called him in the office. He had a company car. He had to call his wife. Because, of course, when you're done, you turn in your credit cards, company card, the whole 9 yards. You're done. Had all the professional designations, It was over. I saw him. He didn't even take the elevator down. He took the stairs. I was coming down the hall. He took the stairs. And I went to wave to him. And he just opened the door and went on down the stairs. And his wife picked him up. And the guy that was the president at the time came in my office and told me what had just happened. Me not knowing, maybe about a year and a half later, I'd be walking the plane. And I mean, this stuff is happening to everybody. What they thought was meant for people that look like me, no, it's hitting everybody. I'm going to move on. Even this thing about DEI, a lot of us don't know this, but the farmers, I'm not talking about the big giant like ConAgra. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the everyday farmers. Did you know they were under the DEI program? Yeah, they were. I'm talking the big farmers, big individual farmers, everyday working folk. That's what I call them, everyday people. I mean, some of them are millionaires, over a lot of millionaires, a lot of people that thought they were safe. Whole different thing. They might be cutting coupons like me. And see, what I'm saying is all of this calamity is coming along, but that's part of the correction. That's part of the correction. Does that mean that the Most High got something against me if the axe fall my way? Maybe, maybe not. I can't answer that. And if you're wise, you won't try to answer it either. Because that bird may fly to your place. But what do you say? Trust in him, trust in him, trust in him. That's the only play we got. Remember now, he said his anger, that thing gonna kindle, for you have kindled my fiery anger, and it will burn forever. Let me read on a little more, because I know some people saying, man, he bringing me down. No, I'm not bringing you down. I'm trying to show you that even when he said, Barry, boy, I'm going to wear you out. He means it. But he gives me an opportunity. Get it right. Repent. Do an about face. And you just hope he call you son or daughter. Because even in that, that's still mercy. No loving parent gonna do away with their child. Then listen to this. He says, the heart is more deceitful than anything else and mortally sick. Who can fathom it? And then he says, I, Yah, search the heart. I test inner motivations. And see, here again, listen, the thing that I love about his instructions deal with our inner motivations. I mean, he gets deep. I test inner motivations in order to give to everyone what his actions and conduct deserve. Let me read that again. Because I know we've been told, God don't put no more on you than you can bear, which is true. Although sometimes when you're the recipient, you feel like, Lord, I can't take no more. Well, I know I can't take no more. I can't take no more. I reckon he said, shut up, because you got a lot more coming. Because we do, and we all been there. Your folks getting ready to correct you. I ain't going to do it no more. I ain't going to do it no more. And about a week later, we just try to be a little sneakier with it. But he says, I test inner motivations in order to give to everyone what his, and I'll add the her, what his or her actions and conduct deserve. Because when he put his, he talking about the ladies too. Brenda. Then he says, a partridge hatches eggs it did not lay. Like this are those who get rich unjustly. All right, now, here's a reprieve, because usually when you're reading the scriptures, it seems like it don't like rich people. It seemed like it. Now, remember now, Solomon was considered one of the richest. He was living large. But listen to what he said again. Let me read it again. He says, a partridge hatches eggs it did not lay. Like this are those who get rich unjustly. So in other words, he ain't got nothing against you getting rich, so to speak, but it's how you go about it. Remember, I said the way you go about an acquisition is more important than the acquisition itself. And you've also heard me say individuals will even use the Most High, your love and your faith for the Most High, they'll use that against you so that they benefit. A sorry sack of tomatoes. People do that. Your faith, they will try to use it against you for their benefit. That's deplorable. That's unconscionable. Y'all ain't know he knew nothing about that. Boy, listen. Folks, Torah prepares you to conduct yourself properly from the White House to the outhouse. And you don't have to be fake, whatever. You can be real. You just being yourself. There's nothing wrong with having aspirations. But man, drop all that fake. Just be real. Just be real. Then it says, in the prime of life, their wealth will desert them. In the end, they will prove to be fools. So, again, you got groups, you got organizations. Come join our organization. We have the path to success. Get the DVD. Send us $49.99. Or buy the book. A partridge hatches eggs it did not lay. Like this are those who get rich unjustly. In the prime of life, their wealth will desert them. In the end, they will prove to be fools. Throne of glory, exalted from the beginning, our holy sanctuary, hope of Israel, Yahweh. All who abandon you will be ashamed. Those who leave you will be inscribed in dust because they have abandoned Yah, the source of living water. A lot of us think we are what we do, and we're not. I use athletes only as an example. You can be the best whatever athlete ever, but that says nothing about who you are as a person. You can be the best preacher, if that's what people like, but you're a cruddy human being. You're a sorry sack of tomatoes. So don't get caught up in what people do. I shared with the fellows some time ago, and a lot of them already knew this, but as far as a man, do you know how a man is judged? A man is judged by prudent men. They look at his spouse. They look at his children. Not the $800 gator shoes he wearing and the $2,500 suit he got on. He's promoting what? A brand. Says nothing about who he is. And there's a way to judge or look at women as well. we're going to move on. I want to be invited back next week. All who abandon you will be ashamed. Those who leave you will be inscribed in the dust because they have abandoned Yah, the source of living water. Heal me, Yah, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved, for you are my praise. I tell you, the prayers are beautiful because individuals are speaking to the Most High from the heart. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Nobody's putting on airs. Nobody's being fake. And it's necessary. It's not just necessary for us, it's necessary for this city. It's necessary for the county. It's necessary for the state. It's necessary for the United States. He needs that from us. He needs honest moments from us. And we need to learn how to be, yes, of course, in your private time. That's the beauty of it. Ain't nobody but you and him. That's it. And he know all of our skeletons. He know all of our warts. And still he will receive us. And he says what? And you all know, if my people that are called by my name would humble ourselves and pray and seek his face, not his hand. Don't ask him for another car. I mean, well, you got to get to work, but you know what I'm saying? And see, that's the beauty of the prayer. When we come in, we're giving thanks. That's the overall theme of this thing. And if he want to change the theme, he can do that. It's his hour. And this is how we're going to get to know one another better in relation to how we're supposed to really love and care for one another. It's a serious thing, man. It's a serious thing. And we will grow. And we may grow in number, but we will grow internally. Man, folks, we have no idea what just a few righteous people can do. I'm going to get on, we're going to eventually visit about Gideon. And I'm hoping that this thing with Gideon will strengthen some people's hearts and give you new resolve. Because I know a lot of times you feel like, well, golly, it's just me and a few others. Sometimes that's all. With Yah, that's all you need. Because I'll jump to it real quick. Gideon had too many. And the army that he had was way smaller than the opposition. But God kept saying, okay, well, you got too many. Tell those that he listed something. He listed about 2 or 3 things. He was thinning the herd. And I would imagine Gideon is like, well, wait a minute. They already outnumber us, and you taking away. Because, again, I just read to you, he said, I test the heart. I test your inner motives. So, in other words, what I'm saying to you is, some of the guys that were there that was telling Gideon, we with you, they really weren't with Gideon. Their heart wasn't in it. See, this walk, you got to be fully committed. Again, you can't kind of, sort of. It can't be something nice to do. It's got to mean more to you than that. I see it. I'll finish up. They keep asking me, where is the word of Yah? Let it come now. As for me, I have not run away from being a shepherd who follows you. You know I didn't want this fatal day. What came from my lips has been clear to you. So do not be my ruin. You, my refuge on the day of disaster. Let my persecutors be ashamed, not me. Let them be terrified, not me. Bring on them the day of disaster. Destroy them with a double destruction. And that's where we're at right now. We're saying, Father, this stuff that's coming on us, and it's over everywhere. People need to be saying, please, not me, Father. I want to do what you say. I want to live a life of obedience. Because even in here, yes, we heard, he says, my fire ain't going to burn forever. But he also said, I will relent. In other words, I'll let up off you, Barry, if you start doing right. That's what he's saying. I keep doing things and getting in trouble. And then, I get in trouble. Oh, Lord, help me, save me, help me. And he's saying, you know better. Why are you doing these things? The wages of sin is death. So you don't want to die? Barry, stop sinning. God bless you. Come back next week.